Hello there, and welcome to my my crap show. So I'm working on my 2020 Indian Chief Dark Horse. For those of you that don't know, I bought this bike wrecked, rebuilt the engine after I had some stuff done to it to fix the problems that it had. Went for my maiden ride, like a really good ride, and then basically the transmission went out and I had to ride back in first gear. So taking the primary off, I'm hoping that it is as simple as the shifting mechanism and not the transmission. Good news is I am able to shift into neutral, but I can't go anywhere past that, and it did that before. I've drained the oil. Oil looks good, and yeah, we're just trying to figure out what this is, and I'm a little stressed out. So let's get to it. Wish me luck, guys. Let's hope this is something simple. Yeah, so one of the major differences between an Indian air-cooled engine and a Harley air-cooled engine is on the Indians, see that? Yeah, that's the transmission. It is inside the engine case. So my hope is that once I take this clutch basket off, I can see exactly what the problem is. If it is not that, I am going to basically go off camera and cry, because that involves pulling the engine, tearing it all the way down, taking the cylinders off, everything, and split the case just to get to that. Primary cover, everything in here looks to be exactly as it's supposed to. Everything is pivoting and doing what it's supposed to. I'm not worried about this at all. So it's a matter of something here is not right. So the good news is, in the oil, I didn't see any metal shavings or anything. This oil change only has like 50 miles on it. There is a little flash rust from my my starter, my coal test adapter here for the primary gear. But yeah, there's nothing in here that indicates like my transmission just grinded itself up or something and it came out in the bottom. Everything here looks fine, but my hope is that it's behind this, and so I got to get this off the sea. I need to invest in some, I'm talking like at least maybe $50 snap ring pliers. Cause these ones that I've been using from Harbor Freight, trash, buddy, trash. Had to use my pliers. So yeah, these garbage. Rack comes out. Now the problem that I'm gonna have is trying to get a 32 mil on this freaking nut. This is so hard. If not, I'm gonna have to take that off, that screw off, and take each individual plate out just to get to that. Because what I had to do before, I didn't have a 32 mil that could get in there. So I'm gonna see if I can find one, because I don't want to take all the stuff off. Harbor Freight, it does not get past the wall of the where the clutch rack sits, so that's not going to work. I got a set of digital calipers here. This hole is about I can't get it accurate. Let's just say 42 millimeters. Okay, well, this socket is bigger definitely than 42 millimeters, so I need something maybe, yeah, 40 millimeters. I'm gonna take a quick trip to the hardware store like AutoZone or Home Depot or something. Don't think they're gonna have one at Harbor Freight, but even if it's $20, that $20 is worth it, so I don't have to take the plates off. Because again, once I get that nut off, the entire assembly just comes out. It's so much easier to deal with. Quick run to AutoZone. That's what we look like with the this is a 12 point. Let's see, slide it in there. All right, and I went ahead and got the deep socket, because once I put my impact on here, I'm not gonna have much room, so works. This thing's scary. That easy. I don't remember if I reused it or not, but you're supposed to replace this little guy as well. Actually, yep, this is the spring washer. You can see it is not fully flat. I may be able to reuse that again. And there's one more in here. Right, that's the last piece. Here's that nut. Sit it there. Now we pull the basket. One thing I really like about this engine, man, is that all of this is like assemblies. Like now you have individual pieces, like this is the oil pump gear. I know some people said, dude, that's plastic. I know, but it turns the oil pump. You got the starter, cold test adapter, primary gear right here. Starter alternators behind here, or the stator. But yeah, when you get this stuff sit like where it needs to be, it all just comes off just like that. I need to figure out what's actually wrong back here. What you're looking at right now, this is what happens when you shift your bike. You shift, it activates this mechanism, it rotates this thing down, which pushes this piece up, which shifts the transmission. So I gotta look in here and figure out why this thing ain't shifting. Wait, see, that's shifted. The spring is okay. Snap ring is where it needs to be. Nothing seems out of place right here, man. Like when you shift, like I said, it moves this mechanism. I can't remember if this goes up or down. Yeah, so it moves this mechanism like this, but this mechanism is also going up like this, which then moves this. But this is typically spring. Oh, you know what? That's what it is. All of this is this. Oh snap, that's exactly what, how did it jump track? Right, so I found the problem. Let me show you what it is. Basically, this little device is the shift star. This is the last point in this entire mechanism from you shifting the bike. This is what turns the shift drum, and this is what rotates the gearing in there, the transmission. This is the input shaft for the transmission. This is what the clutch basket sits on, and as the clutch basket rotates, it is either not applying power to the transmission, or as you're moving forward, that means the bike is in neutral. And if it's in gear, that means it's gripping, the plates are gripping, and it's applying power and is rotating, giving power to the transmission. But anyway, this little device right here is what rotates the shift star, okay? But there's a little roller on it that interfaces with the points on the star, okay? Look at this. It ain't on the points of the star, meaning it is not on track. So because of that, the bike would only go in neutral and first gear. First gear is where it is, in neutral, whatever. It won't go past that. So we got to take this off, loosen it up, and I got to figure out why this thing's jumping track. Actually, before we do that, here's a better view of that. See how the roller is sideways? It's like it's rubbing against that point on that star. So that's why it's just straight up not working. What you're looking at is the manual. So it says transmission will not shift. So if you're really coming through this and you needed to like look at this logically, you just need to kind of just go through all of these steps, right? But broken shift drum, that's what the shift star connects into. Thank God it's not that. Bent shift forks, thank God it's not that. One shift drum, broken gears, damaged, broken bearing, all this stuff. Thank God it's not that. But that device is called the roller detent arm. And it says, if your transmission will not shift, it says roller detent arm stuck. Roller detent arm, repair or replace parts. I think we may be able to fix this. We just got to unscrew it and figure out why it jumped track. More likely, the spring that's on it just did some nasty stuff, and we just got to fix it. All right. Take the shift star off. That did not come off as easy as I feel like it should have. And again, it is torqued. Right there, that's the problem. So, now that we've screwed it off, I'm just gonna pull the shift star Actually, I need to pull that down. There we go. That pops out. And now I need to figure out why this, it's just loose. See that? Yep, your boy, I should've, that's why they say use Loctite. So that is why my arm is not working, so I'm gonna go get some. Yep, there's my washer, everything on here. Uh-oh, I don't lose anything. Was installed like it was supposed to be. I gotta get that and put it back where it was. But this is my little culprit. Oh no, okay, whoopsie. This is my issue, but the roller seems to be fine. It's got a little bit of flashing on it from when I had all this stuff out of the bike for a long time, but otherwise it looks okay. Right, so the big question right now is, why did this happen? It's because I didn't use this blue Loctite. I forgot to put Loctite on it. And now it's making me wonder, where else did I not use Loctite? Well, I'm gonna put it back together. I'm gonna send it, and this time I know it ain't gonna come back off. Woo, that might be too much thread locker there. This fits like this. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna screw it in. I've got this thing pretty locked in, okay? Let's see here. And my torque value is gonna be 88 inch-pounds. Not even gonna play with this, man. All right, that's torque. And now, when I press this, it's tight. See that? That is what it's supposed to do. And now I'm gonna go back in here with the shift star. Has one little direction on there. This has to slide into the shift drum. Push that down. We gotta push this out of the way. So apparently there's a punch hole right here that I've missed. And I may actually be able to kind of hold this thing in place. There we go. Okay, now I can take this. I can get it. Okay. Okay. See if that arm moves like it's supposed to. Okay. Same thing, 88 inch-pounds. Done. Get that out. Oh God, okay. Okay. Got this torque down, got this torque down. You can see it is on track. It takes a lot of foot pressure to shift this thing. Right, there we go. It's kind of hard, man, I'm not gonna lie. By hand. All right, bearings look good in there. I think we're gonna go with it, guys. Also, you can see the bike is actually in neutral right now. You can see the gears in there. Everything turns exactly how it's supposed to. Nothing's binding. Let me go back to the clutch. That's good. Push the clutch in. Yo, so call me crazy, but basically my guy told me to not worry about this flat washer. I mean this spring washer. It's got some spring to it, and he told me don't worry about this. He's like, dude, it'll be all right. Send it, torque it down, you should be good. So that's what I'm about to do. Because I looked at the price of these, like this nut is 30 bucks, and that washer is 30 bucks. So it is what it is, man. We're gonna get this thing done and we just gonna call it. So when we torque this down, we gotta keep the clutch basket from moving. And that's what's gonna happen when we try to torque this down to 125 foot-pounds. So we're gonna use this to lock the crankshaft. We're gonna wedge it between the clutch basket and that primary gear. So I don't remember which direction to do it, but as I start torquing this down, it's gonna turn the clutch this way. And so what we don't want is for it to, we don't want this to move, but once I start torquing this down, it's gonna move. So you're supposed to lock the crankshaft, but the problem is to lock the crankshaft, you have to basically get behind this. So it's really hard to do, but using this little device, we can basically jam the gears. This is softer than these. So, you know, once you do it, it locks it, you just kind of just pull it out. And if you don't have this, you can just use a penny. I've done that in the past too. And the penny will basically just get crushed in. When you're done, you just pull the penny out. 125 foot-pounds. Right, see, it's moving. I didn't put that in there right. I need to put that down there. I figured I had it backwards. Now, it's gonna lock it, watch. It's not gonna move. There we go, see? There we go, got it. Just need to stake the nut and we good. Pop it out. Goes back on the shelf for another use. Now I got the clutch rack. I'm gonna slot that in there. Got this snap ring. Also, you have to make sure that that piece right there is facing out. There we go. Perfect. All right, now the primary cover. Yeah, so I don't know where we are in the Bicasso timeline, but yeah, I've got Scout forks right here. But primary cover, everything's good in here, but this gasket, I'm going to take this off and we're going to use another one. So I gotta get this crusty bad boy off. Hopefully, oh yeah. I got something for that. Yeah, this little brown envelope, it's been over here for a long time. Well, even the Victory Mag, you can tell how long it's been over here because that fuel pump's been here since May, because that's the Victory Magnum's fuel pump. This is actually a primary seal. Day 2 of me putting this thing back together, but I spent a good amount of time cleaning this gasket off. It was completely stuck on there. That's because I reused that gasket twice. So yeah, don't do that. So we got a new gasket. This is going to be our gasket tightening order, or primary cover tightening order. So yeah, let's do it. One major thing about putting this primary cover on is making sure that, I forget what this is called, but this this piston, like I think this is the pinion gear. But anyway, you need to make sure that this is perpendicular to this primary, because if it's the opposite way, what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to get the clutch cable in this perch, and you're going to have to take this cover all the way back off. Don't ask me how I know that. There is a dowel right there and an alignment dowel right there. So make sure that those are there before you put the cover on. I'm actually going to get a piece of tape. I'm just going to tape it just like this. Kind of hold it where I want it. Now I'm going to take my primary, because the dials are lined up. Okay. And now I can just pull my tape off. Yep. Get everything lined up. Gotta get this shaft down here. Yep. Okay. Now I just need to go back with the screws. Like I said, there is a pattern to this, but one thing you got to be sure of is that your gasket is lined up. Because see right here, my gasket is not fully in line. So I gotta push it up, because what you don't want is, as you are, you know, tightening everything down, you either clip the gasket, which means you're gonna break it, which means you're gonna get an oil leak. So you gotta be very careful with that. You know you got it right when you can pretty much turn these by hand. That lets you know that the seal is where it needs to be. All the screws have gone through the seal, and nothing's like binding. See that? It just smoothly goes in there. But if you got something that feels like it's hard to turn, stop, because you're probably on that that gasket, and if it tears, you're gonna have a bad day. So now I just gotta go around and tighten each of these up, and then we're gonna start doing the right sequence. So, mission critical moment. We're gonna be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Just to verify, 177 inch-pounds. Okay. 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me see, 12 foot-pounds is 144. That's only like 13, right at 14 foot-pounds, so it's not a lot. 11, 12, 13. And plus these things have oil on them. 14, or can have oil on them. But I'm gonna put my clutch back together. We're gonna see if we can shift this thing before I put oil in it. Get some grease. People tell me all the time, Brandon, you need to get a jack. And eventually I'll get one. I mean, not a jack, sorry, a table lift. So I don't have to get on my knees and do all this stuff. I don't mind it, man. One day I'll get a table lift. It ain't gonna be today though. So we're gonna take this off, and then we're gonna slide it through here, and then it's gonna hook that there. Yep, it's gonna go like that, and then this is gonna slot in that little perch that I was telling you about. Because like I said, if that is not where it needs to be, if that arm was anywhere further back, you're not gonna be able to get that clutch cable in there, and you're gonna have to take all of this stuff back off. Right, so now, I'm gonna come down here, and this needs to be perpendicular to this spline. If it is not, you're gonna have a bad day. So we're just gonna slide that out the way. There's a little dot on here that needs to line up. You need to line it up, folks. If you don't line it up, you're gonna have a bad day. Do not forget to put this little screw on, because what happens is this little screw adds tension to this piece that grips the splines. And if you don't put this piece in here when it grips, when you try to shift, it is going to round the splines out, because it's metal grinding on metal versus it meshing like a gear. Do not forget to put that on there. Don't ask me how I know. I was like, oh, I don't need that to test this. And then when you shift, it's going. See that? Two little dots. Make sure those are lined up. Make sure it's perpendicular, going up and down. There's that little arm that I was telling you about. It needs to be in the right position so the clutch cable can get in there. And now we just need to adjust the cable, and we're gonna see if all is hunky-dory. I made it a little too tight. It's pretty simple to do this on Chief and I guess these model Thunderstrokes. But you got one adjustment. You loosen this up to the left, and it makes this loose at the top so you can get the cable out. And if you want to add tension, you twist it to the right. But there is no adjustment behind here, because that little rack and pinion system, the little piece behind with the snap ring, the piece that's on the primary, it engages that piece and applies what it needs. So there is no adjustment. All we have to do is just set the cable to the right amount of free play. So actually I need to come up off of this just a little bit. I made it too tight. That amount right there is your free play. So I'll just take a measuring tape, and I think the spec is actually 1/16 of an inch, which is less than an eighth. I'll tighten it up. Honestly, this is nitpicking, but yeah, I'll just tighten it up just a little bit and we should be good. Right, so the question now is, all this work, is it actually going to shift? So I got the bike elevated so the wheel can actually rotate versus me having to like try to do it by hand. So I'm going to power the bike on. All right, so that's 6, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, neutral, 1st. Let's do it again. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Hey man, it works. Now I just gotta put some oil back in it. We'll fire it up. I hear bikes rolling outside, so we're gonna go for a ride. So if you made it this far, then you get to see me actually ride this thing. So let's do it. I know, this is always scary, but the wheel kind of gets stuck in the chalk, and so yeah, so I have to kind of do that. All right, now I'll let it down. Yeah, so after cleaning up my mess and reusing my oil, you'll be alright. Argue with somebody else about it. I'm using the oil I had on the shelf to basically top it off. It's me, your boy, about to go for a ride on this bike without a jacket again. And for those of you that are new here, I wrecked my Indian Scout bobber back in 2018. Very nasty accident, like very nasty. And I went a couple of years without riding my bike without a jacket, and now I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with it. It's starting to get hot, and when I carry my film gear and stuff like that, it's a lot. And now that it's getting warmer, you know, you get like tense in the shoulders and different things. I got these St. Jean compression things to keep my blood flowing and stuff like that. But I've been under the thought that if I am going to be extra sweaty and dehydrated and sore, all of that to me while you're riding, it distracts you from riding versus just riding without a jacket. So when I go long distances, yes, I wear my jacket because that's so much unknown. But when I'm on roads that I know, mostly in town, I won't wear it as much. But 85% of the time, I'm going to have my jacket on. And plus, I don't actually have a summer jacket. I need to buy one, but I am still using a summer jacket from 2014. Jackets are expensive, man. I can't really afford one outside of the money that I have budgeted towards the bikes. But yeah, we're going to go for a ride. There's still some stuff I need to tweak on this bike. This bike is not road ready, straight up. It's just not. I gotta angle this. There's no signals, there's no license plate, there's a lot of stuff. But we're gonna ride it anyway. Let's see, check this clutch. I can adjust it a little bit, but I think we're good. Okay, this wind is very windy today. Let's see here. Alright, so I got nobody behind me. I've been out here for a good minute, just riding around, checking stuff over, but you can see how that handlebar is shaking. As I said before, this bike is not ready, like really ready for a good ride because there's still little stuff that I need to fix. I remember when I had the wheels powder coated, and then I had the wheels mounted to these Cobra Chrome tires. One of the wheel weights, or two of the wheel weights, fell off of the front. And so what I think is happening, really hard to see down there,
that wheel is basically oscillating, and what's happening, you see that, it's causing my wheels to, it's causing my handlebars to just shake really bad. And obviously if you let that continue, it turns into a tank wobble, and then it gets obviously dangerous. So as long as you're just chilling on it, it's fine. You know, but that obviously needs to be addressed. Also, this brake line, this is too long. I have another brake line that I can put in place of this. Also, these brakes are a little soft for my liking, so I may bleed them one more time to see if I can fix some of that. Also, the GPS piece is missing from here. I have the GPS, I just need to mount it. I got to take the tank off and redo that. But when I took this bike to have the exhaust made by my guy at C3V Twin, yeah, I basically just bolted this thing together and just said, hey, here it is, because I knew it wasn't meant, it's not that we weren't going to ride it to test everything, but it wasn't meant to like go long distance. It was kind of like, all right, we got the exhaust, go around the block kind of thing, but it took so long to get it together. But I got some chance to actually try this out. Let's see. So we're downshifting. Everything, whoa, they just seriously just ran off the road back there. Really? Okay. All right, third gear. Woo! And yeah, that's just standard. I rarely go into sport mode on this bike. I've been in it a few times, but then that's when I realized, okay, the wheel balance is kind of off. But now this thing gets up in standard now, but it does have a tune. It has another exhaust on. It's got the stage 1 air filter, even though this isn't the best air filter that you can get for this bike to maximize performance. But honestly, I love the look of it. I had it powder coated. I'm not changing it, even if I do anything else to this bike. So right now, we're just chilling. It seems that everything's working like it's supposed to, but when the transmission went out the first time, basically I felt this grinding as I shifted, and so that's kind of what I'm looking for now to see if it's gonna come back. That's beautiful out there, that swamp. So right now it's just kind of like I need to put more miles on it to see what's gonna happen, because when it happened the first time, I had probably rode a good let's say 25 miles, everything was fine, and then that's when it started to act up. So besides that, you know, everything's good, it feels great, and now it's just I need to button the rest of this bike up so we can finally like do some long trips on this thing. And just, I want to take it to some shows, I want to go to some of these events you guys are showing up at. It's just I needed to get this bike back and actually get a bike of my own that I plan on keeping. So besides that, yeah, bike's good. Oh, and yeah, there's no speed, obviously. It still says 0 because the wheel speed sensor in the rear is for some reason not working, so I got to figure that out. But I knew that. Just one more thing I got to figure out. But I have some more parts I need to put in the rear. I have the new sprocket, I got new brakes, brake calipers that I need to get situated, so it's just a matter of doing it just like this. Let me show you guys this thing in some sunlight. Let's see. Let's get a walk around. Ooh, I don't like that spot, but let's see. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, man. Yeah. It look good. It look real good. There's some stuff I gotta do, man, but you know, like I said, no signals, no mirrors, no rear signals. It's just gotta get back to work, man. Got some dust down there. Bike needs a wash. I still got to get the emblems and stuff to put on the bike. There's a lot I need to do. This exhaust though. Alright, let's get this thing back in, man. More work to do. I'll tell you what, if you made it this far into this video, definitely check out the Patreon, man, because that means if you watch this much into this video, you're really invested in what I do. So yeah, definitely check it out. But we're gonna get the bike home, man. Check, make sure I have no leaks. I don't think I have any. But yeah, this is a bike that I built from ground up, so it's not perfect. And I did this in my garage with no experience. So, but yeah, I'm proud of it. Let's get home. All right, man. Can y'all believe it? I actually made it home this time. Isn't that a blessing? It's always a blessing to make it home, but this time I actually made it home without the bike doing some weird stuff, man. It performed exactly like I wanted it to and expected it to, and now my hope is that my transmission does not do what it did again. And so the next part of this is putting on the new sprocket. While the sprocket is off, I can figure out the wheel speed sensor issue, and then I can deal with the brakes. When I put the new calipers on, there's no point in bleeding them and then taking that off and having to bleed them again. So that was a major thing.
Hey man, why y'all didn't tell me I had a bug on the camera? Y'all wait good until we get to the end to tell me that that's there. See, we're gonna have to work on that. One thing about me, I like to tell people I am not a professional. I'm just a dude in a garage. I learned how to work on this thing myself, just doing it. And I make mistakes, and I do a lot of this stuff trial by fire, and the fire bit me and burned me, and I had to fix it. And I think we got it sorted this time. But the next part of this, I think, is dealing with the sprocket, putting the powder coated sprocket on, and also dealing with the brakes. We're gonna change the brakes from black to Supernova. That's what this powder coated frame's color is. And then we also have the other color, Astro Black. It just looks great, and it's just me piecing it together so I can finally get it on the street. And again, come to some of these events, show you guys a bike, and you know, see what I've been working on for the past better half of a year and a half to 2 years now. But if you're into Patreon, this wall right here, every single active patron gets a spot on my wall. Definitely go check it out. I'll leave a link down in the comments if you're interested in it. Cool. If not, it is what it is. But next part of this, yeah, I already said that, but you can click right here, check out the next part of this video. And yeah, thanks for listening to my story. I hope you learned something about your Chief, or in this case, Thunderstroke, and how these things are put together. I love it. It's fun, even though it gets to me sometimes. But anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.